Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Before we get into your stories in detail, let's take a quick look at your headlines.
National Economic Council to introduce new economic management program next week. Cabinet suspends program to provide tabs to A-level students and teachers. Opposition questions continuation of unity government. Speaker's decision tomorrow. Scam behind the leadership training program, claims life of a principal.
Well, good evening to all our viewers and good evening, Sandro, to you as well. Well, recently the President said that the United National Party has been managing the economy of the country over the past 3 years. And given the soaring cost of living, the President decided to take over the management of the economy. Now today, following the Cabinet meeting, the National Economic Council, chaired by President Maithripala Sirisena himself, convened.
Professor Lalit Samarakon serves as the Secretary of the National Economic Council. Professor Samarakon holds professional credentials as a chartered accountant and a certified financial analyst. The Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Secretary to the President, Secretary to the Prime Minister, Secretary to the Cabinet, Governor of the Central Bank, Secretary of the Finance Ministry and the Secretary to the Ministry of National Policies and Economic Affairs are the other members of the Council. The President's Media Division said the new economic program of the government will be finalized by the National Economic Council next week. Immediate changes and decisions required for the country's economic management as well as short-term, mid-term and long-term programs that require implementation were extensively discussed at the meeting. The National Economic Council was appointed by President Sirisena last year to take policy decisions for economic development.
Now, concerns regarding the national government were raised in Parliament today as well. The debate arose when the opposition raised a question over the legality of the current cabinet holding office any further.
According to the 19th Amendment, the number of ministers can be increased by over 30, only during the existence of a national government. The Hansard on the first Tuesday of September 2015, when this parliament convened for the first time, clearly says that this national government was established for a period of 2 years. And after the 2 years have lapsed, the matter would be reviewed, where it will be decided if the national government would continue or not. But now, Honourable Speaker, I do not think you have been informed at the very least if the tenure of this national government would be extended or not. Neither have they received the approval in this parliament to increase the number of ministers. We have an issue concerning the validity of these ministers. We need to question these invalid ministers because we are not ready to accept their authority. The government should give an explanation to this House.
There are 24 illegal and unconstitutional ministers, state ministers and deputy ministers in this country. Honourable Speaker, this has become an issue which directly affects your reputation. The entire political system in the country has fallen into crisis. So a strong response is needed for this. None of the stakeholders of the national government have moved out.
You are not responding to what is being asked. The issue here isn't about whether anyone is staying or leaving. Even then, this parliament hasn't been informed if this national government would continue. The Speaker should be informed and a document containing the consensus of both these parties should be presented. Until this is given, you will always just say you are still together. This doesn't mean you can evade the issue. You have to give an immediate response.
Like I said before, none of the stakeholders have left.
Whether they have left or not isn't an answer. The tenure approved has now ended. You cannot just imply that this agreement has automatically been extended. We want to prevent the powers of this parliament from being deprived.
Have you been informed whether or not this coalition would be extended? No, you haven't.
I will speak about it with the leader of the House and give a decision tomorrow.
Now, despite the February 10th election being a local government election which determines who holds power of the local authorities, there were numerous calls calling for a public referendum. Now, today the United National Party and the JVP responded to statements made by the joint opposition referring the local government elections to a referendum.
Though this was a local government election, we requested the people to vote assuming this is a referendum. That is what we were asking the people to do.
A 50% election vote result is required for a public referendum. I wish to say this to everyone who is referring the local government election to a public referendum. Those who referred this to a public referendum have suffered a defeat, because you cannot win a referendum with a vote of around 40%. Therefore, we accept the defeat at the local government polls. However, those who referred this to a referendum must also accept defeat.
If this election is referred to as a public referendum, there can be only two camps. The question can be yes or no. Therefore, if anyone is referring to this as a public referendum, they have been defeated. We do not consider this as a public referendum. This cannot be a public referendum. The election results are clear. There are political streams that rise for various political needs. It is wrong to refer these documents in two ways.
The debate on the reports of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the issuance of treasury bonds and the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into large-scale fraud and corruption was postponed for tomorrow. TNA MPs opposed the debate, citing there were no Tamil translations of the reports.
No, once you speak on once in an adjournment debate, you can't speak again. So you want us to only speak on the one? Why are you restricting us to speak only on one report? Why are you worried about the pre-fact report? I want to speak on that as well. You are too worried about me making references to pre-fact report.
But I must first apologize for you're not having the Tamil and English translation. There are about 8,000 pages involved. So we have asked the authorities to get this translated, and they are working on that. But I leave it to the House to decide. Honourable Leader of the House, what do you suggest?
Then we'll postpone the debate.
Just one matter before you decide to postpone. There was general agreement that even if it is not available in Sinhala or Tamil, if it's available in English, that we accept to debate.
This particular one is not available in English.
Still we proceed.
It's not available in English. Yeah, I leave it to the House to decide. There is a valid argument on both sides.
Sir, legally and technically there should be a Tamil translation.
So you want,
English translation is not available, so we postpone it.
Okay, if the House agrees,
okay.
The debates on the reports of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the bond issue and the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the serious acts of fraud and corruption are postponed. It's been quite a while since these reports were produced. Why is there a delay in the Tamil translation? Why is it not available? Everyone knows this is in English. If a person like Sumathiran is saying he cannot understand it, we cannot accept it. Who is behind this? Who is preventing this? We have seen how this is being delayed. As citizens, we suspect the delay in having this debate based on the issue raised by MP Sumathiran is something indirectly being done in favour of those who are involved in these matters.
Now, leader of the National Unity Alliance, Azad Saleh, convening a media briefing in Colombo today, also commented on the prevailing political situation in the country.
The defeated former president has made a phone call to the Prime Minister and asked, why should you step down? There is no need to. Mahinda Rajapaksa has said, forget the AG because there is an executive president. Mahinda Rajapaksa is the one protecting Ranil Wickremesinghe. On the other side, he tells the media that he can remove the Prime Minister. He is trying to fish in murky waters. He also tells the Sri Lanka Freedom Party to form their own government, but he will not accept any posts. He will support it, but give them the post of the opposition leader. If a particular group is running the government, how can the same group hold the position of the opposition leader? Is there any morality in that? Yesterday, Dinesh Gunawardena requested the speaker for an immediate debate to talk about the current situation. But when the debate started, we saw that it was all the backbench MPs who were speaking. Not a single leader from any party spoke.
කියන එක මුළු රටේම ජනතාව අද කතා කරනවා.
Well, you're watching News First Primetime News and you're joining us from the newsroom here in Colombo. We're now crossing over a short commercial break. Stay with News First. More news on the other side.
A principal from a school in Hambantota died following a tragic accident that took place during a leadership training program. Tonight on Action TV, we take a look at serious matters surrounding this death.
The Ministry of Education has so far not been able to fill the principal vacancies of almost 257 national schools out of the total of 353. In such a backdrop, the Ministry of Education took certain measures to provide leadership training to all principals attached to national schools. However, it's clear the Ministry of Education did not have an understanding whatsoever on the leadership training program had in fact put the lives of people at risk. I sent her because it was a program organized by the Ministry of Education. I seriously had an issue how her head was damaged when a rope came off. I have been left in this world with my 4 children. This not only caused pain to the husband and 4 children, but also to the entire community at the Hambantota Suchi National School. Rohini Atapattu, who served as principal at this school, died in hospital on the 17th due to her injuries suffered on that very day. She met with an accident while taking part in adventure sports during the leadership program. All requirements have been addressed. After the person fell, that person was kept on the ground flat and then lifted up. They were wearing helmets. I think the helmet must have come off when that person fell to the ground.
Cabinet has decided to temporarily suspend the program to provide tabs to advanced level students and teachers. 5 billion rupees was allocated from the recent budget to provide a total of 194,058 tabs. However, following a delayed tender process, Cabinet approval was granted to make the purchase from a selected company at a cost of 5.3 billion rupees. Now, News First highlighted this issue on a number of occasions, and when it reached the stage of approval, the government could only afford 4 billion rupees for the project.
The program to provide tabs to students will be included in the government's people-friendly program that is being planned for the next 2 years. All these matters will be discussed and a decision will be taken in a week. All the people-friendly programs will be implemented together. At that time, we will decide if all tabs be provided at once or will it be given to the rural schools first and others later at regular intervals. The Cabinet has appointed a committee in this regard. Based on the decision of that committee, all other matters will be implemented.
The recording of evidence in the case filed by the Attorney General against MP Namal Rajapaksa commenced today at the Colombo High Court. The case was taken up before High Court Judge Sampath Abekun.
The Attorney General has filed this case with 11 indictments, including the improper generation of 30 million rupees by Govers Corporate Services Limited, owned by MP Namal Rajapaksa, in transaction it has entered into with another company. 4 suspects, including MP Rajapaksa, were present in court today. Chairman of Boston Capital Private Limited, Rohan Iriagolle, who is named as the first witness in the case, provided evidence today. Rohan Iriagolle said his company wished to launch a wind power generation project and the company owned by MP Rajapaksa did not provide any consultation to them. However, he said he was compelled to pay 300,000 rupees to the company. The witness said attorney Indika Kaunajiva, who served as a director of Govers Corporate Services Limited in 2013, has handed over to him a cheque of 30 million rupees and requested him to deposit the money to the account of Govers Corporate Services Limited, citing it as payment for the consultation. The case will be taken up again on the 30th of May.
The chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Dr. Parakrama Dissanayake, urged the shipping and logistics sector to translate talk into action when addressing the seminar titled Maritime Hub Aspirations of Sri Lanka, organized by the Ceylon Association of Shipping Agents. Dr. Parakrama called for the establishment of an estate agency to drive the island's hub position in the Indian Ocean.
Labeling, branding plays an important role in achieving your vision. But having said that, branding apart, do we have the right product? That is what we are discussing. We have only evolved as a transshipment hub. How do we go beyond that? Do we have the right product for that one? And somebody has to promote. Somebody has to promote this concept. Otherwise, we keep on talking, coming up with ideas. But somebody has to promote that product. And like the Tourism Promotion Bureau, the industry should agitate and tell the government or governments eventually when it happens that we need to have a Maritime Promotion Bureau. We need to have a Maritime Promotion Bureau to take it to the next level. This role has to be played by the government, not by the private sector. But to have an effective Maritime Promotion Bureau, you need to have an unpoliticized, I repeat the word, unpoliticized Maritime Promotion Bureau. The qualifications of the chairman and the board of directors should be legislated. Otherwise, it will be also of no use.
Reports emerged today of an imminent deal on the sale of EAP Group assets to a UK company for $60 million. Newsfirst spoke to the director of the Department of Supervision of Non-Bank Financial Institutions at the Central Bank.
W. Ranavira confirmed the EAP Group owners were in negotiations but must obtain the approval of the Central Bank. According to the Daily FT newspaper, the other parties involved in these negotiations are Singapore-based Straits Grid Limited and intermediary Malaysian businessman Sudhir Jairam. The buyer is believed to be Lanka Group UK, which is owned by Sri Lankan-born entrepreneur Ali Raja Subhaskaran. The intermediary Sudhir Jairam was picked up for allegedly trying to take out undeclared foreign currency at Katunayaka Airport. Jairam is also part of the consortium engaged in the controversial $250 million Horton Square development project. In this same consortium is R.M. Manivanan, who is associated with Supreme Sat and named in the UN investigation into the Iraqi oil for food scandal in late 2000. The buyer, Ali Raja Subhaskaran's company, Lanka Mobile, has been under investigation in France for various charges including money laundering profits from crime. Lanka Mobile was also under investigation in the UK for tax irregularities. Newsfirst wishes to draw the attention of the Central Bank Governor, the Government, the Media Ministry and Telecommunications Regulatory Commission to concerns surrounding central figures in this bid.
At the Gammadha Secretariat, we don't just believe in uplifting the lives of people by constructing bridges between villages, we believe in building bridges among people, linking them with each other. People from all walks of life come forward to support us in our quest to help others, including the construction of infrastructure in several villages around the country. We invite you to join hands with Newsfirst as we give a voice to the voiceless.
Gammadha, a name and an initiative known to all. The community hall constructed under the Gammadha initiative in Parliament Labour will be vested with the public tomorrow. For many years, residents in Parliament Labour have been carrying out these activities under a large tree in the village. But when we got to know about these issues, we took immediate measures to resolve this issue. Now, not just the Newsfirst team in Parliament Labour, but also the communities are preparing to ceremonially declare upon this community hall tomorrow. We now have Chaturanga Hapuarachi with more details.
The Gammadha 1000 Projects Initiative has come to the Pahala Halmi Lava village in Galenbindunava. It is located very close to the sacred city of Mihintale in Anuradhapura. Now, from the Gammadha 1000 Projects Initiative this time around, we have been able to construct a community hall for the people living in this village. Now, For over a long period of time, the people living here did not have a place to come together as a village to discuss their problems, to hold whatever public activities or public events they have. So this issue was raised to the Gammatha Secretariat a while back, and through our sponsors, our donors, we have been able to construct a 150 square feet community hall for the people living in this village. We are ready and set to declare this open and vest it with the public by tomorrow. We are expecting the arrival of a number of people, number of high-ranking officials from Newsfirst to arrive here as well. We'll be bringing you the details of the opening ceremony tomorrow. For the Newsfirst team, reporting from Pahal Halmilava, I'm Chaturanga Hapuarach.
Thank you, Chaturanga, for that update. Now, in 2015, we launched the Gammatha door-to-door campaign, where we went from village to village and house to house to inquire into the issues faced by the people. Now, we of course did this with the University of Peradeniya, and we were able to compile this report where it states about the numerous issues faced by the people in this country. We knew what the problems were, and we desperately wanted to give these people a solution. So in 2016, we initiated the Gammatha 100 Days Initiative, where we selected a certain number of projects and did everything we could to solve these issues. When we toured in Mathura, we knew and we saw how many people were facing issues due to no access to clean drinking water. To be precise, our research showed that 11% of the people in Mathura were facing issues with no access to clean drinking water. Now, here are some of the requests made by the villagers in Mathura.
එකම පිහිට නලින්ද විතරයි ඒකත් මේ 10 දිනක් 15ක් ගන්නකොට මඩ වෙනවා. ඒකෙන් වතුර ගන්නත් එකත් හරි අපහසු කාර්යයක්. දැනන්නේ ඉතින් වායසක මිනිස්සු අනන්ත මග වැටිලා තියෙන වතුර ගේන ගිහිල්ලා. වතුර පොදක් නැතුව මේ පුංචි ළමයි අරගෙන මිනිස්සු රින්ගලක ගිහින් රින් වලත් වැටෙනවා. වැවේ වැටිලා කීප දෙනෙක් නැතුණා මේ පුංචි.
That's what they had to say when we toured in Mathura. And when we got to know about these issues, we took immediate steps to resolve this problem.
This elderly lady is among the many who in Buralagama, Valigama located in Mathura are compelled to walk for miles in search of water. The only tube well that provided water to the village was set up 24 years ago. However, it does not meet the daily demand of the villagers. This is how the pain of searching for clean water for almost 60 years was finally brought to an end.
අවුරුදු ගානක් දේශපාලනයනෝ ඡන්ද ඉල්ලන්න විතරයි එන්නේ වතුර දෙන්නේ නැහැ. අද දෙන්නම් හෙට දෙන්නම් කියනවා. ඒ කිසි කෙනෙක් උනන්දුනේ නැහැ අපිට. කාලයක් තිස්සේ අපිට වතුර නැතුව ගොඩාල වැවදියා බලාගෙන කන්දේ නැගලා වැවදියා බලාගෙන උඩ නගිනවා.
It's been 2 years since we completed that project, and we personally witnessed how happy these locals were when they were given access to clean drinking water. Now 2 years later, we went back again to see how they were doing, and this is what they had to say.
සෑම පවුලකටම මීටර් 6 කළ වතුර දීලා තියෙනවා. අවුරුදු 2ක් වෙනවා අපිට වතුර ලැබිලා. ඇත්තටම අපිට ගොඩක් සතුටුයි ඒ වගේම දුකයි. අපි ගන්න වතුර බින්දුවක් පාසා ගම්මැද්ද සිරසේ මහත්තුරුන්ට පිසිද්ද වෙන අපි වතුර ගන්නවයි කියලා අපි හැමතිස්සෙම කියනවා.
And that's what they felt for using the facility that were provided by us after 2 years. Now, when Newsfirst team toured in Putlam, we saw the lack of infrastructure development in the area. The fishing community specifically mentioned the lack of a light tower, and they also said that they felt unsafe when fishing during the night. And that is when we made a promise to them that we will definitely fix this issue. Now, just like we promised, we were able to construct a light tower, but here's what they had to say about the slow infrastructure development in the area.
අවුරුදු තාම මේකට විසඳුමක් අපිට ලබා දෙන්න. සවුන්දත් එක්කෙනෙක් මේ ගියා මේ මොයේ. කියා සිතා සිරසට අපිට ලයිට් එකක් හරි ලබා දෙන්න කියා. ඉතින් ඒ අනුව අපි එක ෆෝන් කෝල් එකකින් ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් අපිව බලන්න ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා.
Newsfirst wouldn't have been able to successfully complete these projects without our generous contributors. Now the water problem and the water project in Matara and the light tower constructed in Putlam were funded by Kevilton and Brandix. They also had to say something about this initiative.
Brandix decided to provide financial assistance through the Gammadda initiative as it helps people who really need it. Sivasar, through the Gammadda program, sets a massive example.
Now the interesting fact is that these projects and researches were not done by professionals related to those fields. They were all done by journalists working here at Newsfirst. It is their joint and team effort that made all these projects a reality. Let's listen to some of the views expressed by our journalists at Newsfirst. Saman Vijayaratna, who worked at the Newsfirst control room, is a team leader who took the initiative for the Borala water project.
Gammadda is a program that brought change into Sri Lanka. It also added a novel experience to all of us as well. I am grateful for being able to provide support to the people in need. We also understood the need for the people to help others. We would not have been able to complete these projects in success if not for the donors and contributors.
Newsfirst journalist Sampath Dharmapriya provided leadership in the project to establish a signal tower in Chilao.
I am serving as a news editor at Newsfirst. I was selected as a leader of the Gammadda project. It was in fact a challenge for me. I was serving as a journalist and I had no experience in the construction sector. We worked as a team. I believe the team was able to successfully overcome that obstacle.
Gammadda will not end here and we will do everything we could to bring about that hope and change in the country. That's all from the newsroom here. Sandharu, it's over to you.
Thank you, Azra. Continuing in local news, the final rites of the Arunayaka of the Rama and Maha sect, the late Most Venerable Girambe Anand Thero, will take place under full state honours on Saturday at the Valasinghe Harishchandra grounds in Anuradhapura. The late Thero passed away early this morning at the age of 80 following an illness. Meanwhile, over the past week, representatives of both the leading political parties in the country held separate talks with the President on the prevailing political situation. The Cabinet of Ministers convened today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The Cabinet meeting, which was held at the President's office, was attended by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and a group of United National Party ministers. We have not backtracked on the measures that were taken, but he was given the power to implement them under a proper procedure. No such decision has been taken. In a month, we can see how it pans out after obtaining the views of the legal sector. The President will take a decision favourable for the country. Advice will be sought not only from the Attorney General, there is also a team providing advice for the other legal sectors. And if needed, the determination of the Supreme Court will also be sought.
And with that, for our primetime news, do take care and good night.